Good morning, dears. So far we have discussed about different types of pollination and what are the agents that will lead to pollination, and also about outbreeding devices, isn't it? And as we know that the pollination and the pollen grains may be either the right type or maybe the wrong type. We will not guarantee the right type of pollen grain that will reach us on the stigma of the flower, isn't it? There may be chances of occurrence of the pollen grains transfer from either the different species from a different plant or the pollen grains of the same flower and all. So, based on the pollen grains, either it may be compatible with the stigma and or may be incompatible with the stigma. Chances of getting compatible pollen grains or either incompatible pollen grains with the stigma of a flower. So, the pistil has the ability to recognize the right type of pollen grains and the wrong type of pollen grain. So, the pistil have the ability to recognize either the pollen grains is right type for the flower or the wrong type. If the pollen grain is of the right type, it will lead to the post-pollination event and thereby the fertilization. Okay. So, if the pollen grain is the right type which is compatible with the stigma, it will lead to the post-pollination events that leads to the fertilization, and if it is a wrong type, the pollination, the germination of the pollen grains are prevented and also the pollen tube growth is also prevented. So, the stigma will be incompatible with the wrong type of pollen grains. Okay. So, this is a dialogue mediated chemical composition of the pollen grain with the pistil. There is a connection between the pollen grain and the recognition of the pollen grain by the pistil of a flower. So, there is a chemical composition for the germination for the pollen grain with the pistil of a flower. That dialogue mediated interaction is called as pollen pistil interaction. Okay. Pollen pistil interaction. The dialogue mediated chemical composition that will lead to the interaction between the pollen grain and the pistil of a flower is called as pollen pistil interaction. So, now we are going to discuss the pollen pistil interaction in more detail, and we have to study how the changes of a pollen grain occur within the pistil of a flower. Okay. So, when the right pollen grain will reaches the stigma of a flower, it will leads to the germination of the pollen grain. That I told you that pollen grains contains germ pores, isn't it? So, through the germ pores, the pollen tube will arises and it will grow towards the ovary of the flower. So, when the this picture that I have drawn many times. So, this is a rough picture, and in this case, when the pollen grain will reaches, the right pollen grain reaches on the stigma of a flower, it will start producing a pollen tube. Okay, like this, just like this, a pollen tube, and through the germ pore of the pollen grain. So, it will contain, the pollen grains are in some cases, in some flowers, as I told you earlier that the pollen grains shed at two-celled state. What are the cells? Yes, generative cell and vegetative cell. These are the two cells in pollen grain, generative cell cell and a vegetative cell. So here in this case, the generative cell will divide into two and it will give rise to two male gametes. Okay. Male gamete and another male gamete. So the generative cell in this case will divide to form two male gametes and it will carry through this pollen tube. The contents are carried through the pollen tube and it will reaches the ovary and finally the ovule of the flower. Okay, that's the process which is taking after pollination, that is post pollination event. So when it reaches through the stigma, style and ovary of the pistil and it will reaches finally the ovule of the flower. Okay, so there the ovule, in the ovule we have already found that there are many structures like chalazel end, micropylar end, synergids, egg and all and many other structures are there. So when it reaches the ovule of the flower, when the pollen tube reaches the ovule of the flower, it will enters through the micropylar end of the ovule. Okay. So the pollen tube along with the male gametes, okay, it will reaches the micropylar end and to the synergids. Synergids through the filiform apparatus. In the structure of a ovule, we have already found there is a filiform apparatus. There is a tubular outgrowth in the synergids region. So through the micropylar end, it will enters and it will reaches the synergids through the filiform apparatus. Filiform apparatus will guide the entry to the ovule for the pollen tube. It will guide the pollen tube towards the entry into the synergids. So we can observe all this event with the help of a picture. Okay, let's see.
This is the original microscopic image of a pollen tube growth or the pollen grain germinating on stigma of a flower. This picture shows the LS of pistil showing path of pollen tube growth, and also we can see the entry of pollen tube towards the synergid of ovule.
So all these events including the pollen deposition and also the entry into the ovule is termed as pollen pistil interaction. Okay, there is a process starting from the deposition of pollen grain and also to the entry up to the entry of pollen into the ovule is termed as the pollen pistil interaction. So this is a dynamic process which only allows the right type of pollen grains to carry out the fertilization. But in the case of the in the case of artificial hybridization and the modern techniques of fertilization and all, we can manipulate the pollen pistil interaction by several techniques. Okay, by advancing the field of agriculture and also the plant breeding and all, the pollen pistil interaction itself is get manipulated. We can observe this pollen tube germination in many flowers like pea, chickpea, then vinca, then crotalaria, etc. Take the pollen grains of these flower and on a slide and add a few drops, add 1 drop of sugar solution into it and observe after a few minutes. You can observe the germination of pollen tube with the help of a microscope. So now we can't see through microscope, so we'll show a figure of the pollen tube germination for you. Okay.
This is an original electron microscopic image of a pollen tube growth in a pistil of a flower.
As we know that in plant breeding and all, the different characters like different genera of plants are combined. That is for carrying out the breeding, the different genera of plants of desirable characters are combined to get the superior quality of the plants, isn't it? Through the artificial hybridization and all. So through this kind of techniques, we can get the desirable quality of plants having the superior qualities and all. So the desirable pollen grains are transferred to the genera of species plants, so that we will obtain the superior qualities and all. So it is carried out with the help of artificial hybridization and many other techniques. These are all latest techniques for crop improvement programs, so that the desirable pollen grains are collected and the stigma of the plant is protected from contamination from the unwanted pollen grains to reach the stigma. So there is a technique called emasculation is used. You have to do the this emasculation in your practical examination and all. So we have to study this emasculation and bagging. These are the technique which is used in plant breeding. In this emasculation and bagging, if the female flower contain bisexual, if the female plant contain a bisexual flower, that is male and female reproductive part on the same flower, the anthers of the female flower is removed. Okay, it is cut away by using a pair of forceps. Okay, so it is emasculated, or the anthers are removed before the dehiscence by using a pair of forceps. That process is called as emasculation. And after emasculation, it should be protected from the unwanted pollen grains to reach the stigma, isn't it? So before after emasculation, it should be protected from contamination by using certain bags of particular size with the flower, that is bagging. The flower is wrapped or it is covered with a certain bags made up of butter paper. So it is bagged by protecting from contamination. So that is bagging. Emasculation and bagging are the two important important steps in the hybridization and plant breeding programs. And after this bagging, it is allowed to mature the stigma, and when the desired pollen grains are obtained, when the stigma matures, the pollen grains are dusted artificially on the stigma, and also the process of fertilization is carried out. So this process, after this bagging and maturation, it is rebagged to carry out the dusting and all. Then it is subjected to seed setting and all. This is the process in artificial hybridization. And so these two techniques you have to do it in your practical session. So that we will do later. Just have a look into these two processes, emasculation and bagging.
These are the pictures of emasculation, that is the removal of anthers from the flower bud before the anther dehisces using a pair of forceps. This is an important step in artificial hybridization. And after this emasculation, the emasculated flowers have to be covered with a bag of suitable size, generally made up of butter paper, to prevent the contamination of its stigma with unwanted pollen. This technique is termed as bagging. And when the stigma of bagged flower attains receptivity, mature pollen grains collected from anthers of the male parent are dusted on the stigma, and the flowers are rebagged and the fruits allowed to develop.
If the female flower is not a bisexual flower, there is no need of this kind of emasculation. The female flower itself is bagged, and after maturation it is rebagged and pollination is taking place. Okay, that's all about the pollen pistil interaction and also these techniques. So the rest of the portion will be taken in our next class, and if you have any doubt regarding this portion, you can ask me anytime. Okay, thank you.